Right guys, welcome back to the Italian Grand Prix race review, and Leclerc has made it 2 wins in the space of 7 days as he takes his second win for the Ferrari team at Monza, ahead of Bottas in second and Lewis Hamilton in third. Did you think it was going to be Sebastian Vettel in fourth? Well, you thought wrong. I believe Sebastian Vettel finished 14th. So,
13th.
absolute
Unlucky
13th,
for
14th,
some.
same shite. Pish race from him, great race from Leclerc, and you could tell this one meant a lot to him. He didn't really get to celebrate last week due to that Hugh Bear guy dying, but when he won in this race, you know, he let it all out, guys. He was, you know what I mean, he sold it like he was celebrating the max, and I deserved the win. There was questions about whether he defended it fairly. In my opinion, he done nothing worthy of a penalty. It might have been, you know what I mean, it was hard with his defensive, especially into, is it turn 3 against Lewis? I mean, yeah, or turn 4. I mean, yeah, he did defend that position hard, but I mean, if you're going to give a penalty for what he did there, then you may as well just stop racing altogether. Do you know what I mean?
Well, see my logic.
And
You see, if you look what Max did to him at Austria, completely barged him off the track. No penalty or nothing.
yeah, I mean,
So it's perfectly legal in my book, the big Steve book. I mean, I mean, are you trying to tell me Hamilton had done that? He's just a money bastard, and that's it.
yeah. So Hamilton couldn't get through, but fair play to Hamilton. You know, the first they got off all right. I mean, everyone got off okay. Got through turn 1. Bottas should have had second. Leclerc kind of like defending into turn 1. Leclerc blocks Hamilton in narrow, so Bottas goes around the outside, and he should have been up into P2, but he ran too deep. Hamilton got back to second. Vettel lost it a place to Hulkenberg, which he managed to get back on the next lap on the straight. The Ferrari was just far too quick. And then, I mean, that was pretty much it. Vettel lost a bit of time, obviously, by getting overtaken by Hulkenberg, but I mean, I didn't think there was much between the 4 cars during the first stint, and I thought Vettel was
No.
closing in on Bottas. That's until he fucking dropped it in sector 3. A shocking mistake for fourth, man. He's making mistakes like that. I don't know what was worse, the mistake or the way he dangerously tried to rejoin the track, and he fucking took out Stroll, who was having a good race up until that point. So what was your thoughts on the Vettel mistake and crash collision with Stroll?
Well, I would say they were both pretty bad. Like, but I think you could argue he was onside it when rejoining. So and he was, it's the home Grand Prix, so he needed to. So you cannot. But see the mistake, like, I've never really seen anyone spin there unless it's in the wet. So I don't even know how he spun. Did he even show it on board? I can't remember. Like, it just seemed like he dropped it.
I didn't remember seeing it.
That fucking ball job. Like, I mean, he's under no pressure. He's at the back of the train. If Leclerc done it, I'm not saying it's more understandable, but you shouldn't be doing it. You know what I mean? And
So yeah,
essentially
he got damage
left
one, had to
Ferrari
pit.
on the back foot.
And that was 2 against 1. It was a handicap match from this point on up front. He then received a 30-second stop and go. No, well, not a 30-second stop and go. A 10-second stop and go cost him 30 seconds in the pits, and that dropped him to last on the track. Not good there. There was a battle in midfield between Sainz and Albon. Decent wee scrap. I mean, Albon was a bit over ambitious, trying to go around the outside of Sainz into turn 6, and he just got, he ran out of room, ended up going off the track. I mean, I thought that was a fair manoeuvre as well. You can't give a penalty for that.
Nope.
Hamilton decided to be the first of the front 3 to pit. He came in, put on the medium tyres, covered them at the next stop, and I'm actually surprised at how much of a gap there was
When he came
when Leclerc came out. I thought it was going to be like, fucking nose to nose going into. Well, maybe not nose to nose, but I expect. I think when Hamilton pitted, it was like 1 point. I think he was 1.2 behind. So I expected him to. I expected him, to be well, and I expected it to be a bit. Maybe he takes 7 attempts at him, so about half a second, but it didn't look that. It didn't look that much under a second, to be honest. The gap. But
I
obviously,
thought putting on the hards was
Fry's
the
ready to put
wrong
the hard.
decision, like at the time.
Yeah, I mean, Fry normally get this shit wrong, but it proved to be the right. But then again, Hamilton if Leclerc, in the first couple of laps, he can, maintain his tyres, and he probably wins the race. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think you could argue the reason that the medium tyres on Hamilton's car were so dead is because he was like pushing Leclerc lap after lap.
Nah, in the dirty hour, like. But I think if Fry went on the mediums, they wouldn't have last. They knew on the
Yeah.
hards they could push all the way under threat, which they knew they would be. So I think logically it's the only decision they could have done, and there was no Vettel for
I mean,
backup. So
Hamilton only really got close to Leclerc twice. Even though it was a good scrap, I think the only two times he really came close was the time we talked about where Leclerc received a black and white flag for dangerous driving. Apparently, where went into turn four, Vettel just took the racing line really, and it ended up forcing Hamilton like his right side of the car was off onto the curb, but it's not as if he was forced totally off the track. He still had half the car on the track. You know what I mean?
they were on the curbs. You know what I mean? Yes, he kicked out a bit of grass,
and then
he was on the curb. So,
but I think it was like 10 laps later, Leclerc made a mistake going into turn one, cut the chicane, and again at turn four, Hamilton had a run on him. But Leclerc, he was patient. He waited until Hamilton made the first move, and then he just covered him off with his one allowed switch, and didn't really give Hamilton much of a chance to pass. I think Hamilton's tyres began to go off, and then Bottas, who was closing in quickly, who pitted 7 laps later than Hamilton, much fresher tyres. I mean, he was gaining, and Mercedes are talking about perhaps having to switch drive. Well, people were talking about Mercedes having to switch drivers, but then Hamilton makes a mistake and goes through. Now, I don't think. Part of me is thinking that was the way Hamilton letting Bottas through with it. But then again, you could argue why wouldn't he just do it on track? You know what I mean, and lose less time.
yeah, I know. Why would Hamilton do that? I mean,
But why didn't Hamilton cut across the chicane like Leclerc?
because he was already. Leclerc's mistake came further into the corner, while Hamilton's kind of already knew I'm not making it.
So then Bottas, gets into second. He closes up. He gets to about 7 tenths of Leclerc. And you're thinking, right, Bottas is going to put the pressure on here, try and force Leclerc into mistakes. But it ended up being Bottas that made about 4 or 5 mistakes in the last 7 laps. Every time Bottas, every time he got within about half a second of Leclerc, he would make a mistake somewhere, then he'd drop back to 1.6, 1.7, 1.8 off him. Then it would take him a couple more laps to get back within him, and then even on the last lap, he gets within about 8 tenths or something, and then Mercedes says to him, right, you have the overtake available, and then he fucking loses it coming out a corner. Then the gap goes back up to 1.5, so I mean that was it, and then Leclerc obviously just came through, won the race, and that job done. First Italian win for Ferrari at the Italian Grand Prix since 2010. That was by Fernando Alonso, so long win overdue for Ferrari. It's a good job they actually signed Leclerc, because I tell you what, if they had Vettel, they'd be waiting a long time on this win. Could argue Kimi should have got it last year, but they got it this year, so
He did, mate.
But I mean, in terms of the Drivers' Championship, this race changes nothing. Bottas takes 2 points out of Lewis, but still, it's going to be pretty much impossible for Bottas to put up a tight. I mean, he's got any hopes, the ambitions to win the title. He has to do better today. Lewis obviously in third, struggling. Bottas has to make the most of this opportunity and try and get the win here. You know what I mean? Get the extra 7 points, but he didn't do it.
Nope.
And I mean, yeah. So that's the title over. As for third place, maybe I don't know. Can Leclerc do? That's 2 wins on the bounce. Will he be able to challenge Will he be able to challenge Max Verstappen for third? I don't know, but he's 13 points in front of Vettel, and I can't see Vettel coming back at Leclerc at this stage. That is 7 race weekends now in a row. Leclerc has outqualified Vettel. So, I mean, I don't know. I think Vettel's going to leave at the end of the season. As soon as
Aye.
Ricardo came to Red Bull and whipped them, you know, what I mean, he left at the first season. Um, be surprised if we see something similar.
I'd say this is almost as bad, like maybe even worse. Because I mean, at least that was. I mean, that was the first season after the 4 in a row. Like, so at least you could say, oh, it's just a wee blip. But now you're like, well, it's been 5 years of piss. Like,
Yep. So interesting, man. Interesting.
good race for Renault, 4th and 5th.
Yeah, fourth and fifth. Wasn't expecting that coming into this weekend, but it's a good hunk of points for them and closes the gap on McLaren, who
Yep.
failed to score this weekend. So
Well, Norris got
you
a
know,
point, like,
great race.
but
Oh, Norris
when you,
didn't get a point.
when you get 1 compared to 22, you may as well not have scored.
So I mean, Renault have taken a big chunk out of them. For Racing Point, bad weekend coming here. I mean, Racing Point should have took a lot. I think Racing Point should have probably took double-digit points here this race weekend, but
I expect them to do
they
what
didn't get
Renault
them.
did. Well, more Fiat Perez, like, but
Well, to be
Stroll's
fair to
kind of
Stroll,
unlucky.
he was doing all right. Like, I mean, it's not his. Like, Stroll can't help it if Vettel's a fucking retard who took him it.
I know. And Red Bull were shit. Not that good.
And Russell managed to stay in front of Vettel until the last lap, which I thought was interesting. Vettel just managed to get past Russell on the last lap, so
That's bad, like.
you know he almost got beat by a Williams. How bad would that have been?
No.
Carlos Sainz was having a decent race as well until error in the pit stop. The wheel wasn't applied properly. He had to retire, so unlucky for him. But yeah, apart from that, I mean, it was a decent race. You know, it was kind of exciting with Hamilton chasing down Leclerc. But I don't know. I felt once Bottas came into second, he should have been in a better position to challenge Leclerc because he had much fresher tyres. But he never got as close to Leclerc as Lewis did.
If it was Lewis with Bottas's tyre situation, that would have been it. It would have been job done.
Yeah, it would have been a Mercedes
And
win today.
Bottas has got no racecraft, like, so I wasn't actually that worried.
I know. Vettel after the race didn't even go and see his teammate. Didn't they applaud him? I don't know if he's still pissed off about yesterday. I mean, apparently, I think Vettel's huffing with Leclerc because he didn't give him the toll. But I mean, look at those circumstances in qualifying. I mean, what could Leclerc do? They're all boxed in. It's not like Leclerc just refused to give Vettel the toll. I mean, nothing happened. Do you know what I mean? All the cars,
see at the end of the lap, Leclerc overtook Vettel to give him the tow. It's the only time he actually got the opportunity. You know what I mean?
And there you go. I mean, if Vettel had just went, Vettel would have been the guy because Leclerc actually made it in time. He just didn't feel the need to do a lap because none of the other top teams did. But had Leclerc, you know what I mean, had Vettel just went for it, man, and never waited on Leclerc to overtake him, then Vettel would actually got a timing, and he would have had a toe off Carlos Sainz, who was in front.
And it probably wouldn't have mattered anyway. Vettel probably still would have bottled
Yeah,
it. I think so.
But I don't think Vettel. I think he was like consistently fourth, wasn't he? But all the qualifying sessions. He never had the pace of Leclerc. I mean, he never had the pace of Hamilton. I don't think Vettel would have improved on fourth, if I'm being honest, because the other three seemed quite a bit far in front. But that's it, man, for the Italian Grand Prix review. Great to see Leclerc win. That means for the season it is now, I believe, 14 races in with 2 wins for Leclerc, 2 wins for Verstappen, 2 wins for Bottas, and 8 wins for Lewis Hamilton. So, I mean, it's no surprise why Lewis is at the top of the standings. So he's dominating. You know, he's got more wins than everyone else combined. Pole positions, I believe, is a bit more
No, Leclerc's got
equal.
4.
Pole positions is Leclerc with 4, Bottas with 4, Hamilton with 4, Vettel with 1, and Max Verstappen with 1. So, pole position seems to be, a bit more spread out over the field. But when it comes to wins, Lewis Hamilton is dominant, and he is still the man. That is why he will become a 6th-time world champion, and he will close the gap to Michael's record with him 1. And will he win the title next year? It'd be a brave man to bet against him.
Yeah.
But anyway, up next we've got Singapore. Should be a good race. I think Red Bull will be pretty strong there. So I think Max could be in the fight for the win. How Albon will do, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how Albon does, to be honest, because I mean we've had 2 races back to back since Albon's been in the team. It's kind of been hard to compare him to Verstappen because in Belgium Albon was starting for the back, and in this race Verstappen was starting for the back. You know, so I am looking forward to Singapore. I think we'll get the first true measurement of how Albon does compared to
Albon,
his teammate Verstappen. And I don't know how Vettel going to bounce back.
I don't think.
Is he going to bounce back?
I don't think. Well, I don't think Ferrari has a track that it should win on like merit. But even if it did, Leclerc would win it. So I don't think Vettel will win a race this season. Like,
what tracks are left?
Singapore, Russia. Russia kind of.
Russia maybe.
Japan, Mexico.
Nah.
America, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi could maybe be a Ferrari
Abu Dhabi.
track.
I think Abu Dhabi and Russia are Ferrari's best chances of picking up wins, and we'll see if they do that. But I don't know. I think towards the latter part of the season, a lot of tracks favour Red Bull, so I wouldn't be surprised if Max gets a win or two from here to the end of the season. But man, that's it, man. Another decent race. Happy to see Leclerc get his second win. And prediction wise, I mean, we didn't do that well, did we? I mean, I thought I predicted Leclerc to win, but I think I also predicted Vettel to finish second, and that wasn't the case.
Yeah, well, actually, I think I predicted. Well, I definitely didn't predict Bottas to finish second. I know that, so that's irrelevant, man.
Anyway, guys, that's it, man. From the
break.
Italian Grand Prix, Monza, over and out. 2 wins for Ferrari. Back to
Forza
back.
Ferrari.
And hopefully Alonso will be in the Ferrari next year, teaming up with Leclerc. But anyway, till next time.
Peace.